on the bye week, no really Cowboy game or anything to look at, no opponent to look at. I was just really curious what the 49ers, the struggles that they had against the Browns. Yeah. And I'm like thinking like, okay, we watched the Cowboys just floodgates open. They couldn't cover anything. They couldn't get any pressure. They couldn't do anything defensively that they needed to do. After watching the Browns play the 49ers, the Browns are perfect in the way they match up. With you look at the physicality which their defensive line plays, and you look at their ability with their safeties. Their safeties in this game were huge.
Your guy Delpit?
Yeah, they controlled the middle of the field. When we traditionally see San Francisco play, what are we worried about? The crossers, the inside breaking routes. Brandon Ayuk, everything they have to do with Kittle, everything they do in the middle of the field, you worry about that. And the Browns are equipped to handle that type of a game. And so it's going to be tough if you're the Cowboys and you don't have good safety play, or you have a corner, say like Gilmore, that struggles to carry inside routes because of the lack of speed or the lack of quickness.
Right.
You've got to be able to run with these guys, but you can put pressure if you're able to put pressure on this quarterback. He looked like a totally different quarterback sitting in that pocket. And I'm talking about Brock Purdy. Mm-hmm. When he dropped back, and what they were able to do all week long on our shows, we were screaming the right side of the 49ers offensive line.
Yeah.
McKivitz, Buford, those are the guys you have to kind of go after. Well, I'll tell you what the Browns did. Their big stunt, and they ran it several times this game, and the 49ers had no answer for it. Where they took they slanted the front. And what they did was they slanted their defensive line away from the strength. So what they do is they're going weak. They're taking their guys and going weak, and it forced the 49ers to have to move their offensive line with them. And then they ran a blitzer away from the slant. And the 49ers didn't pick it up 2 different times, caused them huge problems in the game. I mentioned they ran some twist stunts. They pressured the right side with the 2. They got penetration in this game like no other when it came to the pressure that they were able to force, pushing the 49er Buford and McKivitz, pushing them back, and then running a looper. We've seen Micah Parsons do this where he's the in man on the line of scrimmage, and then they push really hard, and then they go around the penetrators there, and then he's right on top of the quarterback. There were several times where they were able to get that type of blitz home. They blitzed against, they played man coverage 71% of the time in this game. They didn't play much zone at all. They said, okay, we're going to lock up. But the thing that they did that they took away from the 49ers, again, the crossing stuff, the safeties. They played too deep with their safeties on the hash. That's what they showed the quarterback. That's what they showed Brock Purdy. Okay, middle of the field, 2 safeties. Hey, maybe we have a little opening there. At the snap of the ball, they played what we call robber. And they went too deep to single high, and they drove one of the safeties into the middle of the field. So they were playing man. It was almost like they were playing what we call man free. Okay. So they had deep safety free, and then man underneath. But they had a robber taking away anything that was going to cross. So these massive Brandon Ayuk crossing routes, or Deebo Samuel crossing routes, or Kittle crossing routes, all that was eliminated in this game.
And seeing that defender cause Brock Purdy to be timid and not want to throw
Didn't want to throw the ball. Just did not want to throw the ball. But it was really their go-to. They played, like I say, that man free. They kept somebody in the middle in case something went deep, but everybody else was playing man underneath, and they drove that guy into the middle of the field. And that's
something the Cowboys could copy.
It absolutely
easily.
Can. You can absolutely do that. You can clearly take that approach in this game. It's not that hard. But the Cowboys play so much single high, but they play their second safety down near the box. But if you were to play too deep and then like I say, defend the middle of the field, you'll be able to do that. Hey, I see Eric Nadell showing up.
Okay.
Let's get him on the air here. We'll get back to Krusty's Corner after that. How about that? Is that okay, or something like that?
We're up against a break here in a couple of
Okay.
minutes. Can we just do you got like another minute?
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick. Okay, I'm sorry. We got a deal where when you look at though, I think the thing that the biggest difference was the physicality. The four-man rush was a problem for them. The slanting away from the defense, take it away from the strength. Usually teams slant towards the strength of the offense. They went the opposite way, and then they were able to play with that blitzer. That affected. They gave Brock Purdy that two-deep look, drove with the robber right there, able to pick everything up. They're able to run with them man coverage-wise. They were able to run with. The Cowboys weren't able to do that. You know, they didn't. When you watch the way that the Browns play, they can play man coverage when it comes to Newsom, Emerson, and Ward. Those guys can cover. They don't worry about them. That frees up their safeties to be able to play the way that they need to play to control the middle of the field. They immediately, Kyle Juszczyk was in a situation, too, where he was playing as an offset, and usually they could run him into the flat and throw him the ball. They immediately mugged him. They immediately attacked him right off the jump with their linebacker, and then made him have to fight to get off. They try to throw a screen. It's not there. Purdy has to throw it in the ground. They had an understanding. Jim Schwartz had a real understanding of what that Kyle Shanahan was going to try and do. He won the middle of the field. He didn't let him beat the screen game, and he got pressure with 4. And when he brought the blitz, though, he was able to get his guys home, and that affected Purdy in that football
Love
game.
it, Brian. Thank you so much.
You.
Personnel a little bit different, but there's one blueprint on how you can slow down the 49ers. No doubt Dan Quinn's going to be looking at that.